Scorpios out there celebrating birthdays. I hope you're all having a good week. An excellent week. The best week that you could be experiencing. I wanted to let everyone know that I'll be using the Mystical Creatures Tarot deck that my friend Angela Izzo just released. It is a beautiful photography deck, major arcana, but soon to be expanded into an entire 78 card deck. But these are really good for doing quick readings, for carrying around, for studying. It's a beautiful, beautiful deck, and I highly recommend it because it's so beautiful. You can see some of the cards here. I will be using these cards all week. And I combined my Stranger and Stranger deck with my Grasshopper deck to clarify. Also, if you're in the LA area, especially toward Malibu or toward the coast, kind of north of Santa Monica, or near Topanga Canyon, or in the valley, or if you're willing to make the drive to Topanga Canyon, basically, Angie's doing an art show there for the card release. You can buy the decks of cards there. I will be putting a link in the description, of course. I'll also be doing live tarot readings there on Friday, and I'm thinking about going up there a couple days this week just to hang out because Topanga Canyon's really beautiful. So we're going to do Aries first. Aries, sun, moon, rising, etc. All right, Aries, if you'd like, just go ahead and relax, sit back, and set your intention for the reading. Just kind of in your mind, set what it is that you want to know about, what it is that you're thinking about. I'm going to pull some cards from the Mystical Creatures deck, and then if I need to clarify, I will go to my other deck. But mostly I'm going to be using this one and featuring this one because it's so beautiful, so incredibly beautiful and well done. Over on the member side of the channel, I'm going to be doing candle scrying today, flame scrying, if that interests you. All right, Aries, so I'm going to put down your timestamp. And we can get started with your reading. The first card that's coming out is the Lovers. This could be about a love relationship, but it can also be about the choice that we make all the time between that which is good for us and that which we want. Sometimes those things are very disparate. Sometimes they're actually pretty similar. Sometimes we're lucky and they're one and the same. But sometimes there is just a little something there to be reconciled. And it's the compromises that we make in our relationships too, and doing what is the right thing to do or the correct thing to do rather than the thing that we want to do. Determining if there is a correct thing to do or if, everybody's just basically having a good time, right? So, the next card we have coming out for you is the Sun in reverse. If this is about a love relationship, it seems like you have a very good relationship. There's just one or two things that are kind of nagging at you. One, you're wondering if you can reconcile those. We have the Chariot. So there is victory, there is mobility. And things might be pretty good now, but you see how they are headed toward this victory in the future. So let me get out my other deck and kind of pull some clarifiers about the cards that we have so far. I'm kind of treating this like a majors and minors split between the decks. As you can see, some of my cards have green edges and some of them have plain edges. We can just kind of shuffle and pull some randoms out at will. See how we feel about that, Aries. See how we feel about ancient Sumerian humor. Yeah. I'll pull these ones. Okay. So we have a situation where there's great changes coming through, that Ace of Swords. But this coming through with the minors rather than the majors. It's a choice that you're making. These are changes that you personally are making for the better. We have the 6 and 7 of diamonds coming out together. So the 6 of diamonds, as you can see, we have like all these diamonds in the teeth. I kind of think about it as like the money that you get from the tooth fairy when you're growing up. It's not a very sustainable source of income, but it's something that brings in money when you need it. It can be kind of like selling body parts or working very, very hard for the money. But then the 7 of Pentacles is about being in harmony and vibration with one's surroundings. So you could be equalizing a work situation that's like that, where you're bringing in money, but it can be very demanding, and so you're finding ways to balance that out. King of Hearts, a benefactor coming in. 8 of Pentacles and 8 of Hearts coming out together. So an offer of long-term prospects. And it could be based on somebody's feelings for you, but it has the potential to be a very long-term energy for you, Aries. So that 8 of Pentacles can be about a work situation, but this could also be about a long-term relationship that leads to big changes for you, or that is coming into your life because you've made big changes also is a possibility for you, Aries. And let me pull some more cards for you, Aries. Let's see. Hi, Maddie. It's so good to see you. Thank you for coming. I've been changing the time around. It's a little bit later now. I went out for ice cream with my roommate and her good friend that I was excited to meet. So that was fun. We have the star card coming out for you, Aries, and it's coming out reversed. So there's social situations into which you're putting your energies. The star card is about how you're allocating your energies in your social groups and towards social situations. There might be ways that you could allocate those energies in a way that would be more productive. Let me see if I can find out anything more about that from these cards. Yeah. Okay. We got the Queen of Wands. So being charming, Aries. Very charming energy with that Queen of Wands. We have the 10 of Hearts, and we also have the 9 of Diamonds. And the 9 of Diamonds can be about like authoritarian energies. Think about like kind of having a boot on one's back or something like that. But the 10 of Hearts is an emotional fulfillment card. So I think what we're looking at is that fine line between seeking out emotional fulfillment and others striving to control us and control our behaviors, which can happen in all kinds of social groups, right? And it doesn't necessarily happen because people are trying to be fascist. Sometimes these energies just kind of creep into our social circles. Even if you're in a very progressive group of friends, sometimes people get very hung up on language and how things are being used rather than trying to create a space for learning and development. So there might be some mediation that needs to occur in those spaces for you, Aries, in this particular situation. And I'm not seeing cards about withdrawing here, but I'm kind of feeling like there's a pairing off with you and another person, and it could be a romantic relationship, but it could just be like two of you splitting off from a friend group to do your own thing. So that's also possible. And it could have to do with like your work life, financial health. We have the Queen of Cups showing up reversed. So this is the mom of the artist, and she wanted to be featured in the first round of the deck, but all of the cards had already been kind of determined. And so the Queen of Cups is included here because Angie's mom wanted to be in the first deck. Hi, Raziel. It's so good to see you. Thank you for coming. So this Queen of Cups reversed, Aries. This can speak to emotional manipulation sometimes when it shows up reversed like this. Or the Queen of Cups reversed can be about overconsumption of beverages. And excuse me. Oh, geez Louise. We are in a time of year where people, going into the new year might have a tendency to be over consuming in that way and celebrating a lot. We have the Death card coming out, so big changes. It's also possible that if this is an energy that has been around you in the past of overconsumption of beverages, that maybe you're making big changes in relation to that specifically. And we also have the Temperance card coming out. Now, Death and Temperance are a sequence as well. So the Death card going into the Temperance card, we are balancing out the changes that we're then making So it could be that maybe you have to quit drinking entirely for a while. But then you're able to integrate it back into your life in a healthy way. Oh, thank you, Raziel. It is available for sale. My friend made this deck. It's all her photography, and I'll be putting a link in the description. But you can also find it from the name Mystical Creatures by Angela Izzo. And it really is a beautiful deck. I've enjoyed working with it a lot so far, and I'll be reading with it for her gallery event on Friday again. I was there on Sunday, and I'll be there again on Friday. Let me pull one more card from this major arcana deck, and then I might pull some clarifiers. We'll see what card I get. Oh yeah, I have to pull clarifiers on this because it's the High Priestess in reverse. And the High Priestess, of course, being this oracular energy full of secrets, kind of a solitary energy, actually. But where we have that card showing up in the reverse, there might be secrets that are being exposed at this time. And you're not being expected to have all the answers either with that card in the reverse. And I'll pull just like a couple more cards from here. Yeah. 3 of spades and 8 of swords, or 3 of spades and 8 of spades. Hi, Jason. Thank you so much for coming. It's very good to see you this evening. So this card is all about having some tricks up one's sleeve, Aries, but simultaneously you might be feeling like you're a bit trapped. You might be feeling trapped, but I doubt that you actually are. Yeah, so I'm seeing a bit about being protective of your energies, but I do see things here about success and moving forward and the potential for love and for the relationships that you're already in to thrive and be healthier moving forward as well, whether they're very healthy right now or not. Certainly not judging. That is going to conclude the Aries reading for this week. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sorry, I'm kind of rattly right now. I think I have allergies. All right, so next we're going to move on to the ever radiant sign of Leo. This could be sun, moon, rising, etc., etc. This deck that I'm using, I know I'm plugging the heck out of it, but it's my really good friend who took a lot of the photography for the channel. Like a lot of the thumbnails I do, but some of the thumbnails she's taken pictures for, and a lot of the photography that you see on the channel is taken by Angela Izzo. So, hi Steve, you're yourself. We're on Leo. We're just about to start Leo right now. All right. And because I'm using a major arcanas only deck, I don't have to shuffle as much but I am putting all the cards back at the end of each reading, just so you know. Sometimes I'll leave the cards out until I'm completely done so there's no repeats. But today we're going to have the potential for repeats. So write down your timestamp here as 2112. That's what Geddy Lee said. So I've pulled like 3 cards for you right now. That's kind of like past, present, or future Leo. And you know that I kind of like to mix things up. I don't necessarily read cards the same way every time. So we're going to start with past, present, future, and we're going to kind of build outward from there and pull some clarifiers and see what else is going on. So in the past, we do have the Death card in the reverse. There would have been a big change that you've been through very recently. And it could have been a total transformation and kind of like, for me personally, I am a Leo, and recently I've really been feeling like I'm traveling through a wormhole into something that I've never encountered before. It's very exciting, but it's also a little bit scary, and it's got me in a weird place mentally, to be fair. Leo, we have the Queen of Cups coming out again. This time in the upright. So the Queen of Cups is a very nurturing energy. This is like mostly emotionally nurturing, so has the potential to be a caretaker, but usually King of Cups is more like a provider, somebody who's taking care of you in an active sense. Then the Queen of Cups would be taking care of you in a passive sense. It would also be water of water energy. So very aligned with the ocean, very aligned with your emotional states, the oceans of emotion that we all have and express. It could be speaking to any water sign energies that you have personally in your chart and showing up as this fountain of emotion at this time. As a result, probably of, these very drastic changes that have come through your life in the not too distant past. The card's reversed, so that particular part of the change cycle is over. But these things can affect our lives for years and years to come, of course. The third card in your reading, so the future placement card, is the Star card coming out upright. This is about hopes and dreams being fulfilled. And because we're looking at the star as Aquarius's card and being associated with 11th house traits, there can be aspects of social groups that are involved in this. That because you're involved in certain social groups, you have had the opportunity to elevate yourself into this position that you've desired. So now let's switch decks just for a minute. Or rather, no, you know what? I'm going to pull 2 more cards for this past, present, and future. Just kind of give a little more layers of context. Okay. So we have the High Priestess showing up reversed, which had just come out in Aries reading as secrets being revealed. So that could be part of this situation too with the transformations. That we also have secrets being revealed moving forward. Perhaps you were very solitary at one time, And now you're coming into more emotionally receptive energies as well. The high priestess has to be able to close herself off and be protective of her energies in a way that the Queen of Cups does not necessarily have to do. And while I am saying she, these cards that represent people in the tarot, you can think of as like masculine equals active and feminine equals passive. So we're not necessarily talking about men and women here. We're just talking about traits that make one more active or one or more passive. The high priestess also is subject to the cycles of the moon. And the Queen of Cups has this in common with the high priestess. Through the tides. So, a very water sign heavy reading for you right now, Leo. We do have fixed sign energies as well with the star and the death card. Moon card's not here, but its presence is kind of heavily felt with that high priestess reversed and the Queen of Cups upright. And we also have the Fool card coming out reversed. So rather than the Moon card coming out, the Fool card is about new beginnings. It's about being naive or having a blank slate. But here, because this card is showing up in the reverse, I think you already know how to proceed. But because the card is showing up reversed like this, I think maybe there's a lack of confidence there, that you feel brand new about it. Maybe you feel emotionally vulnerable in certain situations. And even though you know how to handle these situations, maybe it's things where you're meeting people for the first time and things like that. Because the Fool is kind of coming out reversed with this star card in the upright. So I think you already kind of know how to charm people over, how to win people over to your ways of thinking and being, Leo. And that is what you're working toward here. And you can ask the spirits right now for extra guidance and advice if you feel like you need it at this time. Let me pull these top 4 cards. Actually, so there's one card in this deck, and I'll show you when I get there. On one side, it's the Queen of Pentacles. And on the other side, it is the 8 of Spades. And so sometimes I'll flip through the deck until I find this particular card. And I'll take some cards from there. So that's what I'm doing right now. And in fact, I'm going to take all the cards that are between that and the side, the one that has 2 backs. All right, so what do we have here? We got some low cards. We've got the 2 of diamonds and the 3 of hearts. So this is a very good energy for a romantically based partnership. This could even be a partnership that starts, it could even be a business partnership that starts out as a really close friendship. So it can be a business partnership. It could be a romantic partnership, but it looks like because it's the 2 of Pentacles, there could be financial aspects to that. This can also be about achieving balance in a friend group. having a really good close-knit friend group that everyone is contributing emotionally and with their material resources in a way that is productive for the group as a whole. Everybody doesn't have to be contributing the same amount, but it has to be an amount that makes sense in the context of the group overall, right? So we've got a couple jacks. Actually, okay, so we have a couple of other early kind of energies where we have this Ace of Hearts too. So this is going to be a new emotional cycle starting potentially with this group of friends. We have the Two of Spades. This is kind of like, I think about this card as Boo Boo the Fool. It's perhaps not the kindest interpretation of a card, but that, again, like the Fool in reverse, even though there's a lot of fresh energies in this situation, you don't want to be acting like you're brand new to it. You don't want to be acting like you don't know how to handle things or what's going on. You want to come across as competent, but I really am getting a feeling right now that there's a lack of confidence there for you, Leo. And I think it's coming out of like these changes and perhaps some solitary times that you might be feeling kind of emotionally vulnerable or overly emotional at this time. Excuse me. We have the 9 and 10 of clubs, so a progression there. 9 of clubs is a very guarded energy, and it's almost acting like a sepulcher lid to this 10 of clubs that we're closing up, hermetically sealing inside this ring of fire, because the clubs would be associated with the element of fire. So we're protecting our moat behind a wall of flame. Using shared and polar elemental energies to erect some kinds of barriers between oneself and others. This can also look like using one's humor and charisma as a defense mechanism. That can also be what that looks like, believe it or not. Putting one's own personality to bed in favor of this costume that you've created. Kind of like shoving yourself into a Freddy Fazbear costume for Halloween. Or getting shoved into one. No one gets paid enough for that. I don't know how many of you know about Five Nights at Freddy's, but I guess it's an appropriate time of year to be talking about it. We got a couple jacks coming through. Jack of diamonds and Jack of spades. So this is seeking out new financial opportunities and doing research about that at this time. And there's going to be a wish fulfillment coming through with all of that as well. We've got the 9 of hearts here. So overall, there's a lot of wish fulfillment, not necessarily mobility, but a lot of emotional things going on, new beginnings, but in the context of close-knit friend groups. And some seeking energies with these 2 jacks having to do with money and information. And putting yourself... Oh, sorry. My camera had an error. I'll be right back. fixed it though. Alright, so that is going to conclude the Leo reading for this week. The Leo reading for this week. Alright, so now we're going to move on to the sign of Sagittarius. Sagittarius, how have you been? Thank you so much to everybody who has come out for the live stream tonight. It seems like we've had a good few people coming through at this time. I do feel like sometimes more people are able to tune in at later times. And then you kind of hit that crossover point where people in different time zones are able to tune in, maybe. It's tough to say. It's really tough to say. It's fun to do the live streams, and I'm always so glad to see whoever tunes in. And I don't know if there's really an ideal time or if it's just about moving it around and then seeing who is able to do it when. I do want to mention one more time that I'm using the beautiful and brand new Mystical Creatures Tarot by Angela Izzo. It's a beautiful gilded edge deck. You have beautiful artwork, photography by Angela Izzo. Just a really stunning piece of work. And if you are near Topanga Canyon, her gallery showing is going on there. I'll be there on Friday doing tarot readings if you're interested. And of course, the decks are for sale. The artwork is for sale. There's a video installation. It's really cool, and it's in Topanga Canyon, which is always a vibe. So, you know. All right, Sagittarius. Go ahead, set your intention. You can ask me things through the computer screen if you want. I do readings for the members over on the scrying videos, which I do immediately following the tarot live streams as well. Those are always the same days of the week as the tarot videos. All right, Sagittarius. So the first card I've got for you, Jupiterian card, the Wheel of Fortune. So this is drawing in your energy and potentially Pisces energy too through that Jupiter correspondence. Having to do with expansion, possibly of wealth, and a positive change in one's fortune. Now, this is coming out with the sun reversed. And the sun reversed means that everything's going to be very, very good. But there's going to be one or two things that you wish were perfect that kind of nag at you. We have the Hermit coming out. So this can be about alone time. It can be about one's own seeking out. And I'm going to pull some clarifiers about the Hermit. Like kind of just stop and pull some clarifiers about that before I continue. And we've got what here? Shall I cut it to the Queen of Pentacles? Okay. Yeah. So Queen of Pentacles, and then the next 1, 2, 3. Pull 3 clarifiers on that Hermit card. All right, so we've got 10 of Swords. There's been some kind of ending with that change in fortune. The 2 of Hearts could have to do with a relationship ending, and the 2 of Hearts can be a romantic relationship, but it can also be very close emotional reciprocal bonds that you share with another person. So, it can be a romantic relationship, could be a roommate situation where your roommate's moving out. It could be a good friend who's leaving, moving away. You could have, your relationship with this person could have kind of fallen apart as well, Sagittarius. But not on your account. Like, you brought your most charming, most lovable Queen of Wands energy to this situation, Sagittarius. So if this is a relationship between you and another person that's falling apart at this time, I don't think that it has to do necessarily as much with your energy. However, this can kind of throw you into the situation of wanting to withdraw your own energies for a while to recoup and to heal emotionally. So I think that's what's going on here. Not necessarily that you are looking at the situation and saying, I can't believe this happened. I don't know how it could have gone wrong, and blaming yourself, but just wanting to protect yourself emotionally. That is one thing that doesn't often come up with that Queen of Wands, because the Queen of Wands is a more forward-facing queen, a very charismatic and outgoing queen. The Queen of Cups, like we have had come out in a few of the other readings, is a much more emotionally vulnerable energy. We've got the Justice card coming out. So we do have justice coming in this situation. If this was an ending with a close friend that was very contentious, because it is the 10 of Swords and not like the 8 of Wands or something like that, there might be things that need to be hashed out. If they were a roommate, for example, you're going to need for them to settle up with you on bills and rent and everything like that. You might have even, if you signed a lease together, somebody might be holding someone else accountable for part of the remaining cost of the lease. There's all kinds of things like that can be going on. So Justice card is also Libra energy, and we have Virgo, I think, in Libra right now. Hold on. Virgo might be in Scorpio now. Or Venus, I beg your pardon. Saying the bad words, saying the wrong words. Venus is in Scorpio now, as of yesterday. Venus is in Scorpio as of yesterday. Mercury is in Libra right now. And we have moved it thoroughly into Scorpio season. So the Sun and Venus are very close to each other in the sky right now. But we are moving out of that energy at this time. So there could have been things recently that had been getting resolved in regards to partnerships. And especially where we're looking at the Sun and we're looking at Venus, there's the potential for romantic partnerships to come up with that also. And I will pull some clarifiers too for this Justice card, because I'm going to cut to this ending card of the 8 of keys, the 8 of clubs. I'm going to pull the 3 cards underneath that. And I'm going to show them to you before I even look at them. Yeah, so we have this 3 of Pentacles, Queen of Hearts now coming out, and the 3 of Swords. So on the one hand, there's collaboration. On the other hand, there's argument. And that Queen of Hearts, of course, being that emotional vulnerability that I've talked about in the other readings. Now we see that coming out. And we see it coming out because there's a desire for collaboration, but there's also an understanding about the potential for strife and conflict. This is more like arguments, petty squabbles. It's not like you're locked in combat like the 5 of Swords would be. But the 3 of Swords is enough to spoil a situation as well. And it's kind of like having to, because we have these 2 3s here, you can definitely see the balance that's indicated by Justice and the scales cropping up in this reading. And I'm going to pull some more cards, see what's happening here. And then once I get done with the Sagittarius reading, I am going to go over to the members side of the channel and do some candle scrying. And I will be scrying using the flame. I'm not going to necessarily be pouring out the candle wax and doing ceremancy. I'll be doing the flame reading for the fire sign energies and fire elemental energies. If that interests you, you're cordially invited. But of course, your presence here on the channel is greatly appreciated in whatever form it takes. Now we have the Chariot coming out reversed. Some of you might be working on getting a new car or getting together a more effective form of transportation for yourself. So that would be reflected by that Chariot card. And we have the Magician upright. So I do see that you're going to be manifesting that for yourself. And you're going to do it just in the nick of time. We've got the Tower card reversed. So that can indicate the potential for a near miss, like a disaster that nearly happens, but then it doesn't. So let me pull some clarifiers now about these cards and see what it might be talking about. Kind of seems like some of you are going to get transportation just in time for something that right now maybe you're working, Sagittarius, on getting like a good effective form of transportation. You might be trying to move. You might be trying to travel quite some distance, in fact, as well. And because you're able to manifest the capability to do that, there's near miss. So that's exciting. I'm going to take these top 4, and I'm also going to look for my friend, the Queen of Pentacles, and take these 2 that are underneath her as well. And these are all cards from the Stranger and Stranger deck. Talking about being in harmony with one's environment and surroundings. And this can also have to do with musical practice. There's a cutting off of things. So this can also be going through a storage unit and getting rid of stuff. We've got the 4 of Wands. This lemur in this orange tree really couldn't be happier. You know, it's a very simple pleasure in life to be a lemur who lives in an orange tree. And you notice that we have 2 kind of different energies here, where in this one we're cutting off all of these things perhaps that are no longer useful to us. They are useful items, these candlesticks, these scissors, etc., the dice. But if you are living this very unburdened lifestyle, like the lemur, maybe you don't need all that around you all the time anymore. This is a very interesting card in that it's something that's presenting itself as being very cute or very unassuming or very harmless. But underneath, there might be some elements of surprise and possible hazard. Not that this thing that is presenting itself as benign is not benign, but that you can't necessarily just trust it to be such, Sagittarius. And we got a couple of cute guys here. We've got the Jack of Clubs and we have the Jack of Hearts. So passion and love, but not a very serious partnership. Kind of like I love you very much and we're very passionate about each other, but it might be that it's a very new situation. You don't know each other very well yet. It could also potentially be that you're just keeping things casual with this particular person because you want your life to be unburdened and you want to make sure that there's nothing hiding underneath with them. And I think that's based on past experiences for you, Sagittarius, based on the cards. So this one could be a business partnership, or it could also be a love relationship. Slightly more love relationship cards here, but we did start strong with that Wheel of Fortune. Could be business as well. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today for the fire sign tarot readings. That's going to be Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Thank you. I'm gonna go now over to the member side of the channel to do some flame scrying. If that interests you, you're cordially invited. But your presence here on the channel is greatly appreciated in whatever form it takes. I really cannot stress that enough. So until we see each other